Grace and peace from the Father of lights above, and from our Lord and King Yeshua. I'm appreciative for this day, appreciative for each one of you, and all praise to the Most High God. Just started making some content. I used to have a channel on another, so I wanted to just kind of briefly introduce myself a little bit. I'm a new Saint Germain, and I had another name given to me by the system at birth, just like every one of us did. And I've come to that point in this journey, this self-awareness of what and who I am. It took me down some paths of things that have been hidden from me till this point in my journey. As a getting elderly gentleman, according to the avatar, grew up pretty rough, in that former timeline. So there's no fake here. I am what I am. You know what I'm saying? Went through perilous times of any kind of abuse you could find, and experienced a really, really beyond nightmarish experience within the family structure until I came to this point here. I was not just abused at home and stuff like that, but bullied and all these things. These things are all healed. Understand they're fragments of my own consciousness in the end. Teach me something to bring me to this point, to this very moment, where I'm a new creation, a new being in Christos, the Christ in me, the hope of glory. And but I grew up rough, man. I grew up tripping from really young, and I'm not here to prove anything to anybody, man. I don't have to explain myself to anybody, man. But I just made it through this life the best I knew how to this moment. Now I've really woken up to all these studies. Found some old pictures of me as a kid. Actually, let me do it this way. You can see from real young, bro. That's elementary school. I didn't know these existed. I just found them. Another one. See, I'm wearing blue already. See me as a kid up there. That's in Martha's Vineyard. Of all places, my family was from rich people. That's a whole nother story, man. But there's a family lineage of land property of a tale of theft, betrayal, lies, death, chaos, and destruction, really, man. You can even see in my head that I have blue bandana as middle school. It's one of the last pictures I think I have from like middle school. Who acts like that, dude? They just call me a wigger, man. But the black people treated me good, bro. The white people treated me like dump. I was a Buddhist growing up, so grew up with a lot of Japanese people, a lot of Asian culture. Father was a Vietnam veteran. Me, I'm a veteran, retired. I'm my lower self was my former self. Was a United States drill sergeant, youngest drill sergeant ever in the United States Army history to that point at 21 years old, and got hurt eventually. And after I got hurt, spent quite some time in the hospital and years crippled, confined to a bed, went through hell's experience just trying to, literally 3 days from being homeless and having none of them give me any of my money or any of my benefits or anything, and had no place to go. And God brought me from there, which was, I was released from active duty on 11/11/11. Took me quite a while to get my retirement after that, but I got retirement and all my disability and stuff. It all came in, man. So God set me free off of that physical existence to this timeline to now pursue new things and find myself and find the parts of myself that was lost. Had two sides of the family. My father's side being Scottish, English, back to a lot of those royal bloodline thrones of those. But you understand that whole continent was, there's kings that got misplaced. We're back to, say, the time of the clan of my clan, Robert de Bruce, that whole experience where they got pushed down. Everybody's got that in the human lineage. It's in your blood type. It's in your blood genome. It tells a story once you understand it, where it comes from. Mine was hid from me, and I never really understood about blood types. So check out your blood type, because you're going to find out a lot about yourself if you do that, about your avatar at least, about this suit through which you're experiencing this reality. And so anyway, all praise to the Most High. One of the things I had in the hospital, I experienced a traumatic brain injury. Got a prosthetic hip down here. I've had multiple reconstructive surgeries, one after another. Had to learn how to walk again twice. I suffered a lot of traumatic brain injuries through the years. I was a fighter. I fought. I got jumped every day. So sports, I played football, I wrestled, I boxed, did jiu-jitsu, did MMA. Then I got received a really bad TV on the military, man, which literally made me forget who I was, which was a good thing, man, because I had to start all over again. 11/11/11 was a completely new beginning in all 6 dimensions of my life, and it started at the very bottom levels of hell and suffering to come to this moment, to overcome the internal demons, to get rid of the projections, and to start creating my own reality by choosing to ascend to a higher way of thinking, which equals a higher way of being, higher way of knowing, a higher way of existing, to make me present in the very moment to understand I am. That principle taught to me by the part of my family. Now, on my other side of my family, it was split. We have English, and we have French that was never talked about, because my grandmother on that side come from the family lineage. On that side of my family lineage is the people who actually came over on the Mayflower, related to John Alden, Priscilla Mullins. They kept meticulous records that were after my mom died, or actually her life was taken from her. All these records I saw, we have this, but I still have the pivotal pieces of proof. I got my family, family tree on the wall from the Mayhew family. You bring me through Rodman, anybody connected to Rodman, because my grandmother was a Rodman. But when she got married, she married into the family of a Saint Germain, which my grandfather, it's a whole weird thing. It doesn't really matter. It's inconsequential in the end. But that part of my family history was hidden from me. I identified with my father's side. I identified with the Mayflower side. I'm related to John Adams, John Quincy Adams, Marilyn Monroe, all these governors of Massachusetts. These are Massachusetts people they were whalers. My great-great-great-grandfather was a whaler. I can show you the chest and stuff in there. It's cool. But it's not cool. You understand those people were some of the most evil people on the planet, because they were all complicit in almost destroying every whale. If you understand there ain't no whales on the planet, we all die. So, yeah, no whales equals death. So stop killing whales. There is no more killing of whales. That's a projection of my own mind. We live in a world where people are no longer killing whales. That's what I send to. I'm killing anything that's unnecessarily, man. A more harmonious and peaceful and loving, gracious earth, down to caring for every blade of grass, showing that even that smallest thing is of importance, man. For us all to live in peaceful harmony together, to ascend together, to resurrect to a new kingdom, a new heaven, a new earth together in the Christos, the new operating system, which is love, the Christ OS, the Christ operating system. The OS, Theos, the word for God in our New Testament there, the operating system. And Christ OS is like an update to the system that was there before, the one of law, Inki, and Enlil, and Anu. Understand these mythologies. You understand who Anu is. I make all things new, Christ said. I make all things anew. After the image of who? The Father, the Most High, the maker of the heaven and earth, which we are the sons and daughters of. Kings, priests, you understand this? Christ said, I am the vine, or I am divine. You are the branches. Abide in me and I in you. You'll bear much fruit. Don't just be a hearer of the word, but a doer. But first one hears to perceive, then one embraces, and then one acts them out, then one becomes them. So that's what it is. You have to become the Word of God. Yeshua, Yesu, Jesus, Isa, he was the Word of God in flesh. And once you understand that, once you take in not religion, but just the basic principles of his teachings, those red letters, that's the first place to start, man. Those people didn't have Bibles and all this stuff. The people there that woke up and got resurrected and experienced the new life, the victorious, everlasting life that Christ gave, I mean, they just followed the vibration, the frequency of his love and of his wisdom, because that's what it is. You're tuning into the spiritual frequency of the Most High God, because you're connected. You're not connecting to the light source. You're connected to dark. And we've all been there. We're born in that darkness, or we're born in the illusion of that darkness. So you start to see there's no veil. Christ removed the veil. We go straight in. But anyway, so Saint Germain's side of my family, he was French and he was a musician. And after the death of my mom and my brother, I won't get too much into him, but I have a brother named, in fact, Joshua. Or if he had been in that time, he would be Yeshua. His name is Joshua. So that's actually the name of what Jesus today would actually be in English. But very talented classical composer, conductor, child prodigy. From the time he was like 6 or 7, he was writing classical music scores and stuff like that. I wondered, where did all this talent? He was a genius, little genius. I always felt so dumb compared to him. But I'm at the point now though where my intelligence is starting to come together. Well, I started searching my family. They were French, from French Canadian, where they came from, back the provinces over there. Saint Germain, that's my family name because it comes from Saint Germain. That's my blood. And I found all that out I found out my blood type and my genome sequence, because I'm AB positive. The same that you find on that Shroud of Turin. Where there's only 3% of the population that has that blood type, like 3-something%, right around there. The only thing rarer than that, well, there's some super rare blood types, like 7 people might have, but I'm talking about on a mass level that you would call, they could actually create an indigenous population. Is the AB minus the recessed gene, which we know is our connection to the monkey or the gorilla type primate hominid here, species that grew on the earth without any kind of manipulation. If you understand these things on lower timelines, denser timelines, because everything's spirit in the end. Everything is thought created into matter, and your perception of that. As I sitting here talking to you, or if you're on the other hand, we're projections of our own self, projections of our own consciousness. So the more you choose to align your thinking with truth, your reality will become that truth. And things that were existed before simply won't exist because you don't give your attention to them. If there's any virtue, if there's any praise, if there's anything good, think on those things. But so I found out my family history, that who they were, and were these gifts, because I had extreme gifts, and like I got a TBI, man, which reset me. Pretty much 11, 11, 11. It reset me. God reset me. Everything I thought I knew. My mind didn't work the same. I wasn't the same person. I had gone from this hard, rough-nosed kid to being actually very, very successful, by the time I was 27 years old, I was at E7. I had 900-something people, man. I was doing music professionally. I had all this stuff, man. I had gone from being so awkward around women to any one of them I ever wanted was just right there. The prettiest one in the room was mine. I had to find out that was all emptiness. There was projections of myself, man. Places myself I wasn't in peace. I've come to that peace now, and that peace a lot just comes out from finding who you are, finding out what you are and who you are. But I found some of these old books, things that are being hidden. There was just when I went up to my mom's house, she ended up being like a hoarder in the end. We had a rough thing, man. The last words that ever woman ever said to me is, "Don't ever call me again." Her nickname for me was Little Shit growing up, but you have to understand their pain, bro. And once I was in that house, bro, I knew it all, man. Most evil. I don't even want to go into the evil of evil, man. Let's just forget the evil exists, man. Till it's right in our face, and most side tells us that we have to expose something and do it just by living. But I found out who my grandfather was, Mr. Raymond Saint Germain, Ray. And it's so funny, Ray like a ray of light, Saint Germain. And found his little book here. According to the flesh, he was nothing. He was a little in the, the 40s and that during that 20s. I guess they were born in what? Or mid 1913, 1912, something like that. They met on a cruise ship. He was a big band swing leader, big swing band leader on a cruise ship. He's playing the piano. My grandma fell for him. I guess he had that swagger, but he never, as far as the money consisted, he was a car salesman or something, man. She always felt ashamed. She was a school teacher, but he wasn't treated well. In the end, they did the same thing they do the rest of them. But these things that are hidden from us, man, everything that's hidden will be revealed. And I found his music book and some of his old songs, which was real cool, man. Let's see here if I can find anything else that was here. I had something else in here. I can't find it right now, though. Here we go. I can see it there. Bring it this way. I try to do things backwards, see? Raymond Saint Germain and his music. I don't know if you can see it on this way here because we're on this backward screen, but you get it. That was in Rhode Island. He seemed to have played for the military too. I got some papers here, but also what I did not know, which is kind of creepy to some, but also very helpful to many if they wanted any energies in this experience, this life. If you want to call it this existence, life is like an F inside of a line. Oh, inside of a line. Look at the word, the etymology. We study etymology, metaphysics here, but and my grandfather's energies, and according to it, it's hidden to me that I guess him and his descendants were awarded this, which is Saint John Baptist de la Salle, getting this order and being a member, saying, I'll read it to you. You are a benefactor of the Brothers of the Christian Schools. As a member of the St. La Salle Auxiliary, you are entitled to the following indulgences: a plenary indulgence at the hour of death, obtainable on usual conditions. Obtainable on unusual conditions: Christmas Day, Pentecost Sunday, Feast of St. Joseph, March 19th, Nativity of St. John the Baptist, June 24th, Feast of St. Peter and Paul, June 29th, Feast of Immaculate Conception. 300 days indulgence each time the members come to the help of the society. A plenary indulgence applicable to the souls in purgatory on the usual conditions. Presentations of MBV November 21st, St. John the Baptist de la Salle. Masses every week of the year for living and deceased members, every day of November for the deceased members. So, this being said, if you are entangled in this part of the arch, give me a shout, bro. Because masses every week of the year for a living and deceased member. And every day of November to deceased members. So, If your energies are locked, your ancestral energies, if you understand any of this, constructs of the mind in the end, all of it, get at me, man. I'm showing you the proof. I ain't lying to you. It's right here. So, it's a weird thing. Maybe I make it short. But, yeah, check that out. If I can help anybody. It's felt like out of everything in my life, they tried to steal. They tried to steal, but I mean, they stole all this money my family did, bro. It don't matter. That's not at all. Because it led me to where I'm anew. I found out I'm a Saint Germain and unlocked all the talents and gifts and the perceptions, understanding who I am. You can check my bloodlines. You can check my stories. It all adds up to who I really am. So find out who you are. Find your purpose. Connect to the Most High through the Christos. Look into our sweet beloved Yeshua, who showed us the way, because he is the way. But everybody out here waiting for them to just sit on their laurels in the church pew and just stick for Jesus just to appear in the sky. Well, he did kind of do that on a timeline 2,000 years ago. But now he's given you the way to the Father directly, no veil, through his words, through truth. So let him be the cornerstone. Build a foundation starting in love, grace, forgiveness, mercy to this world, because there's no other way. You can't go on in life and be forgiven and feel forgiven unless you forgive others, because literally they're just a projection of your own mind. They exist in as much, and they exist in that form as much as you give energy to thinking that they exist in such a form. When you start thinking whatever is virtuous, praiseworthy, you start to change and create your reality to more virtuous and higher frequencies, a better, more loving, gracious, kind, spirit, fruit-filled life. And that's what we're about here, right? Not about religion, man. We're about connecting to Source, the Most High God, man, to the God above all things, consciousness and love, understanding and wisdom beyond any temporal thing on this earth, man. To connect to be, and to be the direct express image of that divine love and light of in us, around us, and through us, to the praise of the Most High. All hail King Yeshua. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Blessing, grace, and peace. I love you. The Most High loves you. Our King loves you. There's a whole world waiting for you. A whole new world, new kingdom. Starts one choice and one thought at a time right here. One choice, one thought at a time right here. Stop judging. Start loving. Start observing more than you react. All praise to the Most High God. I love you. All hail King Yeshua.